So, what is the throne of God? The Qur'an talks about this concept called the Arsh, and it's so deep, so profound, that people have been debating it for centuries. Is it a real, literal throne? Is it just a metaphor for power? Or is it something else entirely? We're going to unpack the layers of this incredible mystery, and we'll be drawing from a really deep theological analysis that, honestly, it challenges our whole understanding of reality itself.
Okay, so this is the verse that really kicks everything off. It paints this incredibly powerful picture. God, right after creating the entire cosmos, establishes himself upon the throne. Now that specific phrase in the original Arabic, istawa ala al-arsh, that's the real heart of the whole debate. It immediately makes you ask some really tough questions about things like space and location and power, especially when you're talking about a God who is supposed to be beyond all of that.
And that, right there, is the million-dollar question. What are we actually talking about here? Is it a literal physical chair of some unimaginable size and beauty, sitting at the very top of the universe? Or is this all just a fancy way of talking about God's absolute authority? Maybe it's neither. Maybe it's a concept that our physical senses and even our language can't quite wrap their heads around.
Right, so to even try and find an answer, we have to let go of our simple physical ideas. This whole enigma has pushed theologians to the absolute limits of language. It's forced them to ask, how can we possibly talk about the nature of divine reality without, accidentally limiting it with our human words? And that one question basically created this huge fork in the road for Islamic theology. It's a fundamental split in how you approach the text. Do you take the words exactly as they appear, at their most literal meaning? Or do you look for a deeper, more symbolic understanding to make sure you're preserving the core idea that God is absolutely beyond anything physical? So, this fork in the road, it led directly to two major schools of thought, and each one has a completely different answer. Let's break down their core arguments. Okay, so on one side, you've got the literal view. For them, the throne is a real physical thing, a magnificent creation at the very top of the universe. They'd say God is literally upon it, but, and this is key, in a way that befits his majesty. They summarize this idea as bila kayf, which basically means without asking how. Now, on the other side, you have the allegorical view. This school of thought says, whoa, hold on, you can't assign a physical location to God. That's impossible. So for them, the throne is a powerful metaphor for God's absolute power and control. Establishing upon the throne just means kicking off his divine governance over all of creation.
But what if this choice, this binary of literal versus allegorical, is just too simple? What if they're both missing a piece of the puzzle? Well, there's a third, much more nuanced interpretation that tries to move beyond that whole debate. It argues the throne is not a physical object, but it's not just a metaphor either.
And this brings us to a really crucial concept, the throne of governance, or in Arabic, Arsh al-Tadbir. In this view, the throne isn't a thing at all. It's a distinct, non-physical plane of existence. Think of it like the ultimate cosmic command center. It's the reality from which all the laws, all the principles, and all the decrees that run and sustain our universe come from. It's the source of all the amazing order we see all around us. So this isn't just some abstract idea of power. This plane of governance is incredibly active. The orbit of every single planet, the laws of physics, the way history unfolds, all of it is a manifestation of commands coming from this specific realm. The Arsh, in this sense, is like the ultimate interface between the divine will and our created worlds. Now, this leads us to another layer of this puzzle. The Qur'an mentions these beings, the Hamalat al-Arsh, who carry the throne. And that sounds pretty physical, right? It seems to reinforce that physical image. But if the throne is a non-physical realm of governance, what on earth could it mean to carry it? The common image is easy to picture, right? These incredibly powerful beings, probably angels, physically holding up some giant object. But this interpretation more exploring, it completely flips that idea on its head. The carriers are not supporting the throne, it's the immense power of the throne that's actually sustaining them. So their real job isn't physical labor. To carry the throne of governance means they are the agents, the conduits, who receive and then execute its commands. They are the ones who implement the divine plan for the universe. And before we go any deeper, it's really crucial to remember, this entire framework isn't just some wild speculation. It's all grounded in a super meticulous verse-by-verse analysis of the Quranic text itself.
This is a serious academic and spiritual effort to peel back the surface layer and uncover a much more coherent and comprehensive reality.
But believe it or not, this idea of a throne of governance, it isn't even the final destination. The source text we're drawing from takes us one step deeper to what it presents as the ultimate, the most foundational reality of what the Arsh truly is. And this is the culminating idea, the throne of knowledge, or Arsh al-Ilm. Here, the throne is identified with the actual plane of God's perfect, all-encompassing, pre-eternal knowledge. It's the realm where the realities of all things, everything in the past, present, and future, already exist in their most perfect form, all held within God's omniscience. Now, the implications of this are just profound. Divine knowledge, in this view, isn't passive, it's not like words on a page. No, it's active, it's creative. It contains the actual blueprint for everything that will ever exist. And what that means is that the throne of governance we just talked about is really just an expression of this ultimate throne of knowledge. Power flows from knowledge. So to carry the throne, in the deepest possible sense, means to manifest this divine knowledge out into the created world.
So, the final shift in our perspective is this. The throne isn't an object sitting in some location. It is the very plane of divine knowledge itself. It's the source, it's the blueprint, and it's the governing principle for all of creation. It's a reality that exists completely beyond our human concepts of space and time. And this leaves us with a pretty profound final thought to chew on. The universe we live in, with all its intricate laws and stunning complexities, isn't just run by some kind of brute force or arbitrary power. Instead, it's an unfolding manifestation of perfect, absolute knowledge. So, what does it mean to live in a cosmos where the ultimate reality isn't force, but omniscience? Well, that changes everything.